are aware, a joint New South Wales Police, New South Wales Crime Commission, ASIO and Australian Federal Police counter-terrorism operation took place in the suburbs of Sydney. In all, 25 search warrants were conducted across the suburbs of Sydney that included in excess of 800 officers. Those 800 officers comprised a range of different police skills and capabilities, obviously investigators, forensics experts, specialists, tactical officers, surveillance officers and alike. And as you've seen reported and has been said already, it is the largest operation of its type undertaken in Australia's history.
All right, folks, there's a police chief from Australia announcing the raid in the suburbs of his country, which broke up an alleged ISIS plot to kidnap and behead civilians in public. Joining us now is Senator John Barrasso, Republican from the great state of Wyoming, former orthopedic surgeon of 24 years, chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Hello, Senator. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Always my pleasure. All right, we got a lot to talk about. I do want your take on this, this really frightening plot where ISIS members or wannabes in Australia were going to just take people in the street and behead them in public to put the fear in people.
Yeah, well, they're violent, they're brutal, they're bloodthirsty, and I think they're coming for all of us, which is why the threat is there worldwide. The video of the beheading of the American journalist was titled A Message to America, and that's why I think we have to be aggressive in dealing with them.
All right, and of course, Senator Kerry is going to testify before your Armed Services Committee on ISIS. He's already testified in front of Congress. You're full steam ahead support behind what the president is requesting?
Well, I've been calling for years for them to arm the Syrian rebels, and I think they're kind of a dollar short and a day late in getting there. I think they should have done this a long time ago. Secretary Kerry testified yesterday at the Foreign Relations Committee, and I had a chance to ask him a number of questions. I don't think they have the policy fleshed out yet. You have different opinions coming from different people of whether there's going to be boots on the ground, if there's not going to be boots on the ground, if they're going to be American boots, what happens with a flyover. I asked specifically Secretary Kerry yesterday, so let's say we're bombing ISIS in Syria. Do we have an assurance that our planes aren't going to get shot down by the Syrians? Because we know they have the Russian weapons that can do it. It's not an issue in Iraq because the ISIS in Iraq doesn't have those weapons, but the Syrians do. So those are the sort of things that we still need to get answers from the Secretary and the administration on, and we don't have them yet.
Do you have confidence in whatever those answers are when they're forthcoming? That you can, trust those answers to be what is actually accurate? I have a lot of concerns about this administration's overall foreign policy, whether it has to do with Russia, whether it has to do with North Korea, ISIS, across the board, and specifically with Iran and nuclear weapons. So I'm going to continue to ask tough questions and try to hold this administration accountable. And I think the real problem for our nation is the lack of accountability of the administration. One other question on the Syrian rebels. How do we vet them? How do we know if we're fighting alongside and training and arming Al-Qaeda or other terrorist members or not?
That's a real challenge, and I've been meeting over the years. A couple of years ago in Germany, Senator McCain and I met with a number of Syrian rebels who were asking for help then. I think that's why it's going to take a while to get this program geared up. And then the other question is not just how do you vet them, is who are they going to fight? If these are Syrian rebels who are going after Assad, how do we know they're going to spend the time, the effort,
going after ISIS?
Resources, yes, going after ISIS. So those are additional questions that need to be addressed.
All right, let's move on if we can. 6 years. 6 years. Keystone has been in the lexicon, and 6 years later, nothing, right?
Tomorrow is the 6th-year anniversary of the application. A year and a half ago, the president looked me in the eye when I asked the question of, hey, when are you going to make a final decision? He said, by the end of the year. That was 2013.
Wow. And
he did that with 40-some other Republican senators in the room. Look, this administration is being held hostage by environmental extremists and the fundraising arm of the Democratic Party, and that's why this is slowed down. And you're seeing Harry Reid put a stop to this. We have established and put together a bipartisan group of senators who are ready to vote to approve the Keystone XL pipeline, but Harry Reid and Barack Obama don't want the vote taken because I think they know that the American people want energy, they want American energy, energy security, and they want the American jobs that come with it, and the Keystone pipeline would supply all of those.
Well, if you guys take over the Senate in November, to come next year, you certainly could try to bring the bill to the floor of the Senate without Harry Reid's permission.
There are a number of things we could bring to the floor of the Senate without Harry Reid's permission in a Republican-run Senate. We're working hard to get to that point. I've been traveling the country, as have my colleagues, trying to help candidates get elected. And we'll know after November, in so many of the races, it's still too close to call. But the difference in terms of what the country would look at, the president's taken the country in the wrong direction. He almost seems detached from what's going on out there. Under Republican Senate, what you're going to do is see actually votes on the floor of the Senate on issues of energy security, exporting LNG, liquefied natural gas. That would help as a geopolitical weapon.
And Senator, not to interrupt, but we're short on time. I do want to ask you, if the Republicans take the Senate, and if this bipartisan group in the Senate, and you guys bring it to the floor and it passes, do you believe the president, under those circumstances, will sign it or veto it once it gets to his desk?
Well, we're going to try to make sure it's attached to something that's something that the president's going to want to sign anyway, and that's an additional way to force his hand on it. But there are a number of issues related to the health care law that we want to get in front of him, the 30-hour work week versus a 40-hour work week that we know is important, the issue related to the medical device tax, exporting liquefied natural gas, the Keystone pipeline. There are dozens of pieces of legislation that have passed the House with bipartisan large votes, and Harry Reid continues to block them.
Right.
We're going to get them to the president's desk.
Senator, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me back.
Take care. My pleasure. Senator John Barrasso, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it, to have all those bills wind up one way or another on the president's head. 6 years stalling on the Keystone pipeline. The president can't decide if it's a good thing or a bad thing. On one hand, on the other hand. All right, we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, with Aaron Klein. Don't go away.